First of all, what you're looking at here is a miniature database that I created. It's my company's payroll. Got a list of my 10 employees. I have their benefits, hours, hourly rate, and their weekly pay. And using this database here, I want to introduce you to the two functions, the count and the CountA. First of all, the count. You can see I've got the term and its definition. The count function will count up all cells with a number within a selected range. For example, if I come over here and I choose this range to include in my count function, it's going to count up all the cells that contain numbers within this range. And I can just simply eyeball it here. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 cells that contain numbers. Now, since this database is so small, you can eyeball it and just come up here and say, I don't need a function. Let me just type in 7 and I'm good to go. I'm going to go ahead and hit undo. But imagine if you have a much larger database, like, I don't know, 1,000, 10,000 employees. Instead of eyeballing it, you may want to use the function to help you out. Be a lot quicker. And as far as this miniature database goes, the purpose of the count function, let's say, is I want to be able to count up all the employees who entered in hours or worked hours this week. So that way I can go ahead and tell payroll, of the 10 employees, I found that, using this function, that those who entered in hours or who worked this week are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 employees. In which case payroll can go ahead and budget the cost for that week. Let's go ahead and enter in our count function. There's one of many ways you can do it. One way, as you recall in an earlier training video, is hitting the equals key on the keyboard and just typing in the function. So let's go ahead and type in the first couple letters of the function. It pulls up a list of all the functions that begin with those, well, first 3 letters, count. You can see it's selected down below. All you have to do is go ahead and hit the tab key. That is, once it's highlighted or selected, it pops it open, inserts the function here in the cell, and then it's got down below the syntax, and what's bolded is what I got to input into this function, the first value. The first value is going to be, well, the first range, or the first range that I select that I want to include in that count function. I can either type it in, or since the database is so small, I can just come over here, click and drag and select it, and it enters it in for me, G5 through, or colon, G14. Now if I had 1,000 or 55,000 employees, I'd go down to at least to the row 55,000, in which case you don't want to click and drag and go down to rows 100, 200, 300, 400. You get the idea. That would take forever. It's a lot easier to go ahead and let me hit the backspace and say it's in the same column G, so I'll leave G there, and we'll go down to row 55,000. My database isn't that big, so G14. And then if I want to go ahead and select another range in another column, in this case, you can see down below in the syntax it's showing me that there's a separation between each range by a comma. So go ahead and hit the comma to go to the next value, or giving us the option to select a second range, click and drag or type it in, comma, click and drag or type it in. In any case, I'm going to hit the backspace key. You get the idea. I just want this range here. When I'm done, all you have to do is go ahead and hit enter, and it counts it up 7. So there are 7 cells that contain numbers within this range here. The next function, CountA. Now this function is going to count the cells that are not empty. For example, I'm going to come over here and I'm looking at this range right here. How many cells in this range that are not empty? Well, we can eyeball it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 cells are not empty. Well, as far as this database is concerned, let's say that Human Resources wants to find out the number of employees who are most likely to re-enroll in their benefits at the beginning or start of next year. Most likely it's going to be those employees who already have benefits. So I'm going to go ahead and count up all these employees who have benefits or whose cells here are not empty. So to do that, come over here, click just below the name of the function or the term. And like I said, there's many ways to insert functions. Come up here, and to insert a function and not typing it in, you can either come up here on the formula bar, click on FX, brings up the insert function window, or again you can come up here on the formulas tab, there's the FX insert function, or if you know the group that the function is in, and I'll be honest with you, I don't have these memorized. I'm guessing more functions to statistical, and oh, there it is, CountA, or you can insert function there. So if you choose to insert the function, it says, okay, what function are you looking for? Go ahead and either type it in or select the category or group that it's under. In this case, I can select all and then just scroll down to the C's. There's CountA. Select it and go ahead and click OK. And you can see that, well, first of all, it wants to select K4. Well, it's in column K. K4 here through K8. That's not what I wanted. So I can look over here if I wasn't sure of the range and go 700. No, it should be a range that contains text or characters there. In any case, there's a flag. It's nice to see that there. So let me go ahead and select that range, and it's this range right here. I can either type it in here and just delete it and go F5 colon through F, 14. And automatically you can see the range. It begins with nothing or 0. There's nothing in this cell. Then the next cell has dental, then dental and medical. And then once you go ahead and you type in the range, or you can click the collapsible dialog box button, and you can go ahead and click and drag and select the range. But you want to be careful, because if you don't delete the range in here, it wants to add ranges. That's a mess, isn't it? So I'll select it, delete it, click and drag and select it again, so I just have the range and it's not adding one range on top of another, and then hit the Enter key to pop that window back open. And then down below I get the actual result of the values that I entered in here, or the range. And the result of it, since we're using the CountA function where it counts up cells that are not empty, it says of the range here, here's going to be your final result. Are you okay with that? If not, then you better come up here and make some changes or choose the correct range. So if I need another range, I can click down here, type it in, or click the collapsible dialog box button and click and drag, hit Enter to open, go to the next one, click and drag. Well, like I said, I just want this range. If I'm done, click OK. There we go. It counted up within this range again 8 cells that are not empty. Now I have a question. Down here on the status bar we have the quick glance, the view of count here. Now does it use the count function or the CountA, or what is this count counting? What it's counting are those cells that have something in it. So if I select this range, as far as the status bar count is concerned, it finds a total of 8 cells that have something in it. When I select that range, even the one above it that has the text hours, or the column label for this column, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and it says, look, of the range you have selected, I count 8 that actually have something in them, okay? As opposed to the count function, which just counts up the range of cells that contain a number in it, and the CountA function, which will count up those cells that are not empty, that actually have something in it. Like these people have benefits where these two don't. Hey, thanks for watching. If you like my video, please give it a thumbs up. And if you subscribe to my YouTube channel, as soon as I upload a new video, you'll be notified instantly, and you can do that by coming over here and clicking on my face. You can also click here to support me, so for $2 a month, you can have access to over 2,700 training videos, all ad-free, and for a few bucks more, you can have access to my exercises, instructor notes, quizzes, certificate of completion, and a whole lot more.